Well, welcome one, welcome all, welcome us to episode 17 of Series 2 of Fab Life with Lauren and Lee. Yes, Series 2, I hear you ask if you're new to this. We were recommissioned by the powers that be, aka us, and we decided to do a Series 2. So... if you have just joined us, welcome. This is a weekly podcast that we have never missed. We've only missed 1 week, actually, because I was severely ill. But this is a weekly catch-up podcast about anything and everything, isn't it, Lauren? It's not...
That's right.
It's not a niche. We're not a niche. I guess we are the niche, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we've created our own niche. You know, you could be on the loo, walking to work, gardening, whatever you're doing. We can keep you company, we can chat shit. You know, a lot of people said they listen to us going to bed, which I find slightly weird, but also
I find slightly offensive. I put your voices on to get me off to sleep.
That's how dull you are.
Lauren's so angry, she's just thrown the mic on the floor in protest.
I realised it was facing the side. I only realised looking through my very new 720p imagery. If you're watching on YouTube, you can watch us on YouTube if you search for Fab Life Lonely. Oh my God, I'm so clear that I realised my mic was facing the wrong way. Well, on the old laptop, it would have been blurry as fuck. I wouldn't have even noticed that it was facing the wrong way, probably. So there you are.
Well, talking of gardening, I've just been out in the garden. We've bought some solar lights, which are
lovely.
Just a joy. Just a joy,
they're
aren't
so
they? But
good.
We're currently working out where to place them in the garden. So
right.
I'm
You and
actually
Leslie
looking out to the
there.
garden.
Oh, yeah.
No, Leslie's not really dealt with it. Well, Leslie's kind of more... she's more kind of like commenting from afar. The garden is definitely the dad's domain, but
Dad's zone.
yeah, so we've also got some fairy lights, or as I call them, lights. But
Why gotta be fairy?
We've got some fairy lights, and they came today, and we've just put them up. This is very boring, but I'll tell you anyway.
Please tell us.
We've put
It's never
them
stopped us before.
We've put them in like is it a trestle? Trestle
Is like, when it's like got your ivy grows up it and stuff. You know, like it's like a bit of a fence, but it's like crossed.
Yeah, so that's what. Yeah, so I've kind of wound these fairy lights in between there, and then what I've done is a bird box, and I've just kind of wrapped the lights around the bird box. So I'm really excited for it to get dark, because I'm like, how is it going to look? It's either going to look magnificent or a little bit shit.
Well, I'm sure it looked great. Them birds, the party birds, will be grateful because they've got finally somewhere to go at night where they can rave it on up. Yeah.
Well, I was also thinking, you know, are the birds going to be like, for fuck's sake, who's just randomly put these lights outside our house? I suppose it is the equivalent of having like bright lights shone into your bedroom window. Although I don't think there are any birds in that box at the minute.
It's a lonely box. Oh, sad times for the birds.
Oh, I've got such a lonely box these days.
Honestly. What was I going to say? Lee, we've got so much to catch up on because you went to a star-studded event at the weekend, which we will come to. Very excited.
Or as I call it, studded event. Thank you.
Thank you, hon. Cheers. Yeah, so we will come to that because I feel like our listeners will be gagging to know / probably don't give a shit, but we're going to talk about it anyway. But in the meantime, we should discuss, because last week we talked about psychic mediums, which rocked up a few Lazarus stories from our Insta DMs. So shall we do a recap on them? Because I did do a small lol to a couple of them.
Yes, okay, indeed we shall. Some people have been messaging me actually and asking and just being like, oh my God, I want to go. Like, I suppose the thing with psychics is their USP, or their thing is like, it's quite good in the sense that they get people who really want to go because they believe, but they also get people like me who's like, this is a crock of shit, but I really want to go and see what it's like. So their business model, if they were going to take that on Dragon's Den, I think they'd do pretty well.
It's flawless. It's flawless. You're getting a show regardless, you know?
True. And when he was like pointing around the room and being like, huh? What? No, that can't be right. That can't be right. And then I was like, are you being possessed by a semi-American? No, it's just my accent.
Did it? That's the bit I did think of, was the pointing bit, because like when you told me the story and I listened back, I was like, I kept replaying it in my head, imagining you in this kind of like dowdy living room with like really granny curtains and like 80s couches, and him being like this, like just pointing at the air.
And me,
I couldn't
like,
quite get
imagine
over.
me trying not to laugh, like, you know how I am in those kind of situations, and I'd like cackle in his face. But I do like, I am a little bit like, so the other night, I'll just say this, right? I was at my friend, our friend Amy's, stayed over, and her partner put a glass on the ironing board, which I'd left out from the night before. So the ironing board was there, the glass was on it, glass of water, and he nipped like downstairs or something, but it was outside my room. And I was just laid on my bed, and all of a sudden I heard like a little thud, and then I heard water dripping. And I was like, what the hell? So I got up, and the glass had tipped on its side, and the water had dripped off the ironing board. Now, but it had been stood there for a while. It wasn't like he'd put it on there and it automatically fell over. It was like something, and
the psychic's following you.
Freaked out. I was like, oh God, I've let the spirits come to me and now they won't fucking leave me alone. It's like they're following me on Instagram and everything. They won't stop. Like, what are you going to do? So now I'm a bit like, oh Jesus, what the hell's going on? I mean, if I'm in the kitchen today and all of a sudden those fairy lights come on, I'm not expecting it, I'll be like, oh my God, it's a sign. I'll be like, oh no, it's just the trestle. But
it's like, just the trestle. Solar powered.
Yes, it's very weird that it only comes on at night. It's very dark. Anyway, so we got a message from lovely Stacey Randall, who I do also want to thank, because God love her. She is like our majority shareholder when it comes to Fab Life with Lauren
love
Lee.
that woman. Yeah, God love her, indeed.
I know. And so there is an option if anyone is that bothered, and if anyone likes to leave a little donation. Well, Stacey just can't stop. God love her. So she did donate. So thank you to that, Stacey. But also, she's put, I've seen so many. So Stacey's into it. The best one was the one that went on and on about a pet dog under the table called Kiki, and that's how most of the evening went. So again, it's like, that is kind of specific. So if you had a dog called Kiki, or you did have a dog called Kiki, it would be somewhat freaky, wouldn't it? It's not like, you know, the dog,
it's not like a
Kiki
generic dog name. Yeah, like Rex or something. You know what I mean? It's quite
or
specific.
it's not like you could be like, did you have a pet? There's a furry animal. Did you have a dog? No, I had a cat. Yeah, a cat. Yeah, it's a cat. It's a cat. It's like, do you know what I mean? He's very specific in the fact he said dog and Kiki. But she's seen a few. Maybe she's waiting. Maybe that's another part of the business model. If you don't get the thing the first time, you go back for a second chance.
Yeah, and I actually replied to her as well, like laughing, and she'd had loads of them in her DMs. So apparently it's a thing on Insta. Let us know if you're one of these victims of people getting hounded. So people, psychic healers are on, you obviously using Instagram like every other business owner does, saying, hi, hello dear, like, do you want to chat? Like, I'm getting a sense from you. You know, like, getting a sense through Instagram of all things. Yeah, weird. So, like, check your hidden requests.
The spirits use Instagram? Can you get it?
I know.
I mean, imagine a spirit having to sign up for Instagram just saying, I'm not a robot. I'm not a robot. A spirit wouldn't be able to pass that test, would it?
It'd also be like, what's your date of birth? And it'd be like 1894. Just wouldn't believe it. It doesn't go back that far.
No, you'd be scrolling for a long time. That's something that is depressing, isn't it? When you have to enter your your date of birth online, and it's got that scroller thing, and you literally, it's like fucking playing Wheel of fucking Fortune at one point, because you're like, scroll it down to 1990.
Oh God, I'm 88. It's even worse. Do you remember when it was MySpace though, and you literally just
that's 1988, by the way, guys. It's
I am not a ghost, all right, not with this hair colour. We also got one off Kelly O'Brien, who's a fab lifer as well, and she always leaves quite funny comments. Actually, she's always got a story to tell. Our Kelly, but she'd be fun on a night out.
R. Kelly, has she? R. Kelly. I maybe wouldn't call her R. Kelly anymore, Lauren.
Our Kelly.
I mean, R. Kelly does have a few stories to tell, to be fair, and ones we don't want to hear. Fucking.
Let's go back.
Anyway, go on. Poor Kelly O'Brien.
Our Kelly says, I went to one years ago that me and my 5 mates went to. I was the last in, so when it came to me, she was completely drained. Now that bit I was howling. The fact that she was completely drained. I don't know why that made me laugh.
It's like these spirits have taken everything from me. Like, I'm exhausted.
I'm absolutely spent.
Not a bloody another one.
And they're on like a hen do or something, like, ooh, do me next. You've had a bottle of Prosecco. She even yawned as I walked in, so that's just hilarious. She then proceeded to ask if I knew who Peter was, then if I knew Paul. Yep, I was thinking about those 2 damn birds as well. She was really running out of names, wasn't she, the bloody psychic? Anyway, I felt bad that I pretended to know who Paul was, because she could clearly see that the woman was like drained, so she was just going along with it. Oh yeah, I knew Paul. Went full Oscar acting, love it. I couldn't believe Paul came back to me sad face, so she just had to fully lie and pretend that Paul was coming back to her. She also tagged her friend in it, and her friend said she asked me if I knew a Peter as well, and I said no, even though her friend was a bit cruel. She said no, even though both of her granddads were called Peter. And her boyfriend at the time.
Oh my God, that's like 2 opposite people. Like, one of them is like totally lying just to make her feel better, and the other one is like, I'm gonna make you feel shit. I mean, I guess they both balanced each other out in a while.
But poor
in
Peter.
a way. Poor Peter. Well, talking of Fab Lifers as well, I want to give another bloody thank you, because we only had a Fab Lifer visit me at work. Shock horror, the shock
you have
being
a job?
I was working. And yes, good. That's where I was going. Stuart, lovely Stuart, who's also visited you at work.
Oh,
yes, all right, it's not top trumps, Lauren. It's not top trumps. I know he went to you first.
I was priority, okay.
Basically, I had a couple of gigs in London last week, and lovely Stuart and his boyfriend came and visited and watched the gig. Now, I was so appreciative, but it also made me quite nervous, because like when people, because I hadn't really properly met Stuart before either. Like, we chatted through like the podcast and stuff and Instagram. I think I've met him like once before, but I was thinking, oh God, like imagine if this goes terribly and he's like, are you just some sort of fraud who thinks he's a comedian and he's really not, and like he's
like
shit.
The podcast is scripted.
And also, I'm going to say, I said this to him, it was an absolute crime, because he came with his lovely partner, who, I'm so sorry, his name escapes me, but they were like Adonises walking through. I think it's disgusting when I see 2 gay men looking that attractive. I said, I think the government should tax it. It's just like, it's not okay.
Did you pull them out the crowd and make a show of them? And be like, look at these two.
They're showing everyone up. This is a disgrace to the gay community. Anyway, it was a bit of a weird gig. It was nice, but it was a bit like odd. It was a bit touristy. So I wasn't 100% pleased with the performance, but you know, people laughed at certain places, and that's all we could hope for.
That's all you can ask for.
I want to say thank you very much to Stu for coming along and supporting live comedy. You know, very supportive, very lovely man. I said next time we're going to go for tequilas. I think we need to arrange like a little Fab Lifer meet up, and we all go out and get drunk. Yeah,
we should do a poll. Because you could just go to a nice pub And then if you pop along, you pop along, and then see where the night takes us. AKA, it'll probably end up in freedom. But there you go. We should do that. The Fab Life Summer Party, that's what we should call it.
Yes.
Oh my God, let's do it. Because you
And
can
that
just do like
means as
Eventbrite.
Well, I was going to say that also means it's tax deductible, which is so much better.
Yeah, it is. Anything we can pop on the old taxes. Oh, actually, I just forgot as well. Another Fab Lifer, Johnny, messaged me. And he's got this huge mustache, right? And that's like his whole identity is this mustache. So he said they were real, because he's a bit of a skeptic, when it comes to stuff like that. And he was like, they were real because 1 year ago told him that one day he was going to grow this magnificent mustache. And now he has one, like years later. And it's like, but I think maybe he'd forgotten that when he was growing it. I don't know. But there you go.
Or maybe like subconsciously she's like planted that in his head.
Because she's like, you'll be well fit if you grow a tash.
Yeah. And it's like, she's almost shaped him into doing that.
Yeah, she's moulded him.
Maybe I should go to one and they'll be. Yeah, they do. Because everyone I've told, even though they're skeptics, they're really like looking for things that are categorically, indisputable. So it's fun. And I'm kind of the same. I am a skeptic, but I'm also looking for things. But at the minute, I don't think he gave me anything that was set in stone.
Concrete.
So on to the next one, hey? On to the next.
When we've got a television show, that's one of the things they'll make us do. They'll make us go to a psychic, won't they? And we'll both be like, we'll either be laughing or we'll be shitting ourselves. Or both. What a great combo.
God. Or it'll be like a prank and they'd tell you something really offensive about yourself and I'd be like, that's out of order.
Like a secret,
like
that you actually know.
It'd be Ant and Dec or something. They should do that. Ant and Dec should dress up as psychics. Why haven't they done it as a prank yet?
They might have. I don't really watch Saturday Night Takeaway. They might have already done it.
All right. God. Have a go at Ant and Dec.
Haven't they been through enough?
Such disgust. Yes, so this week we're talking events because I did go to a rather glamorous event on Saturday and I have to say, Lauren, I've missed dressing up. I really have.
Can we discuss the outfit? Because I've seen
Okay, I was hoping that we could. Because
you looked so fab.
Indeed.
And I saw friend of the pod, Roshni, on Saturday, and then I texted her because she lives right by the venue that it was at. Like, we're literally next door, and I was like, OMG, you got to look out for Lee, like, collapsing out the front door in Hackney later on today. She was like, no way. And then we both commented on how great you looked. So I've seen the shirt in white, and I've seen the jacket before, but together, all black, what a combo. Please discuss, because you should wear that every day. It should be a uniform.
Do you know what? I was stressing out a little bit about my outfit and didn't really know what to wear. The only thing I knew that I didn't want to do is a bow tie because, I've been to, so it was the Soap Awards for anyone. I don't know if we said that. And I was obviously someone's plus one because I haven't been in a soap.
I think people believe that you're a soap influencer because of
hilarious.
How a soap character does this, which is quite funny.
But so I was like, I don't really need to dress up like in a full bow tie and regalia because I'm not even I'm just plus one. So I wanted to go a bit cool. Anyway, I have to say I felt very good. And I have had such lovely comments about the outfit. And I should wear it every day, I should. That's the annoying thing about Instagram is because I put that on Instagram and Twitter. People were loving it on bloody Twitter. Anyway, it's now that thing where you're like, oh, God, can I wear that again? Like, yes, I obviously can, but I can't really.
If it gets a lot of attention,
when you posted it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like, yeah, you just kind of feel like, oh, right, what do we wear next? And that's where I felt for all the people who go there and get photographed because it's like they must have to ensure that they wear something different all the bloody time, and it's a right stress for them. Like, you could have a dress and wear it whenever, but
Yeah, I think
We've
a lot
all
of
got
people rent.
problems.
That's why they like rent stuff now, isn't it? Because you end up spending so much money on a dress and then like you can't wear it again. Well, not can't. You can do what you want, but like, yeah. So just a bit of a waste of money, but you can rent stuff like designer shit. That's
Yeah,
what I'd be
no,
doing.
and that's what's happening. But yeah, that jacket, I mean, I've got use out of all the time, so you can pair it with lots of things. But thank you, Lauren. I felt very good actually, and it wasn't too hot. The day was quite nice. But obviously, last time I went to that event, I got terribly, terribly drunk and made a little bit of a show of myself.
I was kind of banking on that.
If you asked. Yeah, if you asked Amy, she'd be like, he ruined the night, and and that's the impression of Amy.
She does have a speech impediment for anyone listening.
I'm like, all right, it wasn't as bad. Yes, I might have dropped a glass on Jack P. Shepherd's foot on the dance floor. Sorry.
Who hasn't?
Yes, I
who
might
hasn't
have
done
just
that?
been slurring. Yeah, who hasn't? David Platt's been through a lot, okay?
Yeah.
But so I was all right. I wasn't too drunk. But the funny thing is, I get to the event, and so all of the plus ones sit a little bit further back in the stalls, and obviously all the cast sit together.
So they're in shot. Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, for some reason or another, I was put in a box, and it was like the royal box. I walk in and there's just the box and me in the box on my own. So I walk in and I'm like, oh my God. And then eventually another girl came and sat in the box. But I looked down and Amy's looking round. This was just before it started. And I could see her thinking, where's Lee? And I could see her thinking, he's snuck off to the pub next door like he did last time, like he specifically said he wouldn't do. I could tell she was thinking, he's gone and snuck off again. So I texted her saying, look up, I'm in the royal box. And as the show was starting, it said, please, and the show was live, which was great because it just powered through. But they go, please welcome Philip Schofield. And Amy looks up at the box, and I'm doing the royal wave from the box. And she's like, what are you doing up there? I was like, I don't know. Anyway, then it dawned on me, maybe they remembered how drunk I'd got last time, and they were like, if he's in a box, we can just discreetly pull him out of the box with no commotion, and we can throw him out the event.
Your name was on a blacklist from last time.
Yeah. But then because I was in the bloody box as well, I don't know if I mentioned, guys, I was in a box.
I was in a box.
I was very conscious that I could be seen. So I'm like this throughout, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, no, the dingles, yeah, oh, great, yeah, trying to, just, know what I'm doing.
Be really supportive.
Oh, yeah, brilliant, woo, woo. And towards the end, I was, forgetting I was # in a box. So I was just this with my gin, slumped down, come on, yeah. And then, obviously, bless them, when Doctors gets called out, I mean, I'm not having a go at Doctors, but there's, Emmerdale, Hollyoaks, EastEnders, and Coronation Street, and then they're, in Doctors, and bless them, they just look happy to be there. But, so I was
they're the plus ones.
Anyway, so it was lovely, and it was just nice to get dressed up.
I miss
love
it.
getting dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
Do.
Yeah, we're still not back in the swing, I don't think. And we were saying last week, we're trying to be good, aren't we? You on your regime and me slightly counting calories, even though I had ice cream today. But trying to get back in all those vintage suits of mine and stuff. We're still not quite there, and there's still not the occasion for it because everyone's moved all over the place. So I feel the fab events are few and far between compared to, maybe not for some people, but I feel for me.
Well, maybe you'll have to get dressed up for the Fab Life summer party, Lauren.
Oh my God, we will have to say dress fab, that's the dress code. It'll just be in some bougie pub, but dress really fucking fab. Yeah, maybe we will. That was so great.
But it made me wonder, fab events? Do you have like fab events that you've been to that stick in your mind? Anything and there's one that sticks in my mind, which is the Brockmans event that you took us to that time. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And they had like fire eaters and burlesque and like just
so
gin on
good.
tap and that 3-course meal. Like, how did that even come about?
Have you been to a couple of them with me? I can't remember.
Yes, I have. Yes, I
You
have.
haven't
I'm
you?
always the plus one. I'm going to entitle this Lee's Always the Plus One.
He knows some powerful women are leaders with perks galore. You actually do, don't you?
Yeah, because Kate, my friend Kate, who's used to get free holidays all the time from being her influencer, from being an influencer. So I've been to like Zurich and Budapest, all expenses paid with them. I'm always a bloody plus one. It's because I'm not doing anything with my life. I'm always free. That's the thing. It's Lee will be available.
Yeah. It pays to be free, guys. It pays to be single and jobless.
And desperate.
And a little tear rolls down his face. I went on a Brockman's trip with him as like a micro influencer like years ago. So I had like barely any followers. I had like 2,000 followers, but they wanted to keep it to people who like genuinely liked it and so would reach an audience that's like real. So I always like put it on my Insta. I always have done since like they were a tiny company. Oh my god, I saw them on
we
a
do
tube
genuinely love it as well.
It's so great.
Oh,
Tube ads, they're so like just mega now. And I went to fucking Barcelona and did this like huge, like basically what we did but like next level. And like because we were the ones coming from Britain, and there were like there's a few like bartendery gin people as well who went that had a massive following, and then there were like a few of the like suppliers, so they wanted to like keep them sweet. Oh my god, it was intense. Like we all got there and never done anything like that before. I was like, what the hell? And everything was paid for. Like got there, even like at breakfast in the airport, it was like fizz and like just any whatever breakfast, and then like drinks on the fly. And you're like, I need to pace myself because I don't really know anyone, so I'll have a little nap. I think I'll have a little disco nap when I get there, and if there's Brockman's at lunch, there won't be, I'll save myself for the night out. And then there was like fucking canapes and lunch and massive Brockman's going around in this hotel in the middle of Barcelona. And then we went to dinner and I sat on Bob's table, who owns Brockman's, and now me and him are like friends. It's so bizarre. But weirdly, I'd met him at an event years ago, and I'd gone up to him and said, "Are you did you create it?" Because I was like, I love it, and he's Northern, so we just like hit it off like straight away. Yeah, so when he was on this, I thought he'd pick me to go on this trip, and then he turned around doing his like welcome to Barcelona speech, and he like kind of caught eyes, and he was like, I didn't know you were coming, this was the PR agency. So it's this like massive coincidence, and then ever since then I'm always on the list, although I've not been on it for
he was like, I didn't know you'd be here. What is that Northern girl doing stalking me?
I'm always absolutely trashed as well, and they just love it. But I didn't get a hangover the whole time. It's just so clean. It's just so great.
It's so clean, so clean. Yeah, that one that we went to was just great. And like we sat at that seat and they were like, press this button. And we pressed this button and all of a sudden our seat like rotated. Yeah. And we like went on this weird like roller coaster type ghost train ride. And then this guy like was doing a trapeze act. And I mean, it was that thing like, when you're in a bar or whatever and you're waiting for your drink and they started to do fucking Cirque du Soleil and you're like, just serve the fucking drink, mate.
Just serve the
we're all
drink.
Tired. But with this Brockman's one, I have to say, it was immersive. It was like, ooh,
so immersive.
We're in it.
Yeah, because they were trying to they do this thing where it's
ice.
like, dark. So once you drink their gin, it's like a sexy gin. It's not like hoity-toity like British, no offence, Gordon's. But yeah, so when you press it, it was really good. And they had like cameras, didn't they, to film our reactions. I don't know where they went, that footage.
I know, and I was really overacting, trying to get a part. I was like, oh.
You're like, it's amazing. Yeah, that was a good one. I forget about all them. Ooh. I'm trying to think other events. You've been to loads. I mean, back when we used to do promo though, sometimes you'd work an event and it was like, you'd get there, like I did Kate Moss's wedding. I did, and me and this other guy,
Did
Ian.
you?
Yeah, like her second wedding, and it was like in her house in the Cotswolds, and we had to like put our phones in little lockers and shit. And like we were just in the kids' tent running this PlayStation because we'd worked for PlayStation before, and we did nothing. We literally did nothing.
Oh
like
my
no
God,
one knew.
love it.
So I saw like Jude Law was there, saw him come in, like because also like the kids had their own nannies, but she'd also hired a load of nannies to be in this room, so that the parents never. And then there was TP set up like right next to their tent, so that if they wanted to nap, they could just sleep. You know, so the mum and dads never got bothered ever. Oh my God, it was amazing.
Oh my God, brilliant.
So me and Ian just like literally stood there. I think like 2 people used the PlayStation.
Did you not have to sign an NDA?
Yeah, we had to sign an NDA. So we didn't know what we were going to. Yeah.
I hope it's expired.
Oh well, no, because all that information got leaked into like whatever magazine that like.
Oh, okay,
probably would have been Vogue.
good.
It wouldn't have been OK magazine, would it? Because it was Kate Moss. But yeah. Can you imagine? Don't worry, she's divorced that guy now anyway, so yeah, it's all in the past.
I was going to say exclusive for the pod. Guys, the summer party is cancelled because we're paying Lauren's court fee.
My
when she
legal
gets
fees.
Sued.
I'm trying to think who else was there. There was just loads of celebs. It was great. Jude Law was one that came
Really?
into the thing though, and I was like,
Well, have I told you
whoa.
about the time that I worked... I think the Standard, is it the London Standard or something?
the
Standard,
Evening Standard, the paper.
The Evening Standard, that's it. Yeah. And they did like Most Influential People of the Year award.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
I was like, those kind of events, like what I'd kind of got to grips with doing was making friends with the client beforehand. And this client
Sucker.
liked me. So I was like... What roles are there? Because I was thinking, what's going to be good? What's going to be a good role? Like,
Yeah.
you want a decent role, but you also don't want a really busy role. But you also don't want a really quiet role because then you're just a bit bored. So
Yeah.
I chose like this role or whatever, like welcoming people in. And then for some reason, something happened. And the person that was like manning the turnstiles to let ticketed guests in... had to go off somewhere, and the client was like, oh, Lee, quickly, just cover. So I was like, oh, anyway, so I get to this bloody turnstile, and someone runs up to me about 5 minutes later from the event, and he's like, right, the Prince of Wales is about to arrive, Prince Charles,
Oh my
and
God.
with Camilla, and they're coming through this door, so no one specific, like he was like, can come through until I give you the all clear. Do you understand? And I was like, yeah, that's absolutely fine. He was like, do not
Yeah.
let a single person through here. So
Oh
I
my
was
God.
like, and I'm like a little weedy, like, and I'm like, okay, you okay? But you know, I stand my guard. So this big fat man in a suit, and like I say fat man because he was fat, he was just terribly fat, but like in the sense that, you know, when like they wear a suit and it's like it's almost like a sausage. Oh God, this is so mean, like a fat shaming, but I'm only saying it because he was an absolute arsehole. But he was like, he looked like he had gout. He looked like Henry VIII back in his like bad days.
When he was
You
eating
know?
all the turtled hen. Yeah, we're just like really going
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
And he pushed me because he went, move out of my way. And I said, oh, sorry, sir. No one can come through here. And he was like, why? And I said, they're just waiting for a guest to come through and then we'll be allowed. So you'll have to wait here. He went, move. And I went, sir, you're not allowed. And he went, move out of... And he pushed me back.
Oh my God.
And I was furious. And I turned to one of the security guys. I said, remove him. I said, I'm not being manhandled. And the guy was like, what? This is preposterous. Who was
he?
He was
He
like
must have
really
thought he was
posh.
someone.
Some random freak. Yeah. Then, this was bad. So I'd been briefed. No one is allowed to come in. The mayor of London, or as you'd say, mayor. Oh God, I said mayor. The mayor of London,
The mayor.
Sadiq Khan. He'd just become the mayor of London. Okay,
Great.
Sadiq Khan, and not Khan. He certainly wasn't calm that night, I tell you. And he comes up with his team, and they're like, "Excuse me, the mayor of London needs to come through, Mr. Khan. And I said, sorry, no one's allowed through at the minute. And the guy went, don't be so ridiculous. This is the mayor of London. And I went, I've been specifically briefed that no one is allowed through under any circumstances. Sadiq comes up to me and he's like, I need to get through. I said, I'm so sorry, I can't let you through.
You were like, listen, Sadiq.
The Prince of Wales. Yeah. Sadie, come on. And I said, the Prince of Wales is coming through. You can't come through. And he goes, I'm meant to be welcoming the Prince of Wales. So Sadiq Khan was late. And I was like, I'm sorry, I cannot let you through. And he was like, I'm the one that's meant to be at the door as Prince Charles comes through. And I'm meant to go welcome. And I was like, well, I've been told that no one is allowed through. And we started like getting in and then
having it out.
Anyway, then this guy runs up and he's like, what are you doing? Let him through. And I was like, you told me not to let anyone through. And in the end, I was like, everyone go. I don't give a shit about
You were
this
like,
royal
I am
protocol
never
anymore.
covering.
I was so angry. I said to the client, I was like, all I asked was to be on canapes. All I asked, and you put me on the front door and I got pushed by a fat man with gout.
Henry VIII came back from the dead.
It all came back to me.
That's a bit
It
of
all
a
came back to me there. I was...
stressful role, isn't it?
It's trauma.
Absolute drama. I'd worked a Game of Thrones event once, and I didn't watch it, but they had like the whole throne there. It was only like series 2 or 3, and everyone was like bumming it. And I remember like loads of celebs were there, and I didn't. That's when you really love stuff, you know. Yeah, and Jonathan Ross was there with his family. That was one of the interesting ones because he was like one of the only people that actually spoke to us, and he was nice. He was like, and he's
lovely
early.
Though. He's apparently
yeah,
lovely.
he was really nice, and that was like one of mine where I got put on the door, and I was like, oh god, I don't know if I'm going to be able to cope with this. But I actually didn't know anyone that was in it, which was quite good, apart from Jonathan Ross, who's not in it.
Because it got big around like series. Probably like 4, 5, 6-ish. So that series, it will have still just been gaining momentum.
Yeah.
You'd have known Sean Bean, but this is not a spoiler. He gets fucking axed on the first series.
He gets killed in everything he's in, doesn't he? If Sean had been there, I saw Sean. I've seen Sean a few times actually in London. Saw him when I worked at a Sainsbury's garage on Holloway Road. One of my first jobs in London, and he came in and bought a pack of fags. Garage? Yeah, across I hated it, man. I used to hate it. It was on the tills.
I bet. Oh
and like, you used to get loads of celebs.
That quiet. You've never told me this before.
Have I not? Oh, you used to get loads of celebs coming in because it's like Dermot O'Leary came in once, bought some fuel. Because it's like the road into London, isn't it? Like Holloway Road, like you come off the motorway and you like come straight through Holloway. And Sean Bean
people
came in.
live around that area as well. It's a nice area.
Yeah, well, it wasn't then, but. Yeah, but it's close to Angel. Like, it was like the Angel end, Highbury Islington end, you know. But no one knew who he was. So this other guy served him, and I was on the other till. And he'd come in and bought some fag Sean Bean. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, you just served Sean Bean? And the guy was like, what? I was like, you don't know who that was? I was like, you just... And then it happened again with Dermot O'Leary. Came in and bought some fuel. I was like, oh my God, you just served Dermot O'Leary? And he was like, the people were just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, okay.
You're really like, I need to get out of here. These people, they're not real. Well, I found some events that are like really expensive ticketed events. So I was just going to end on this.
Love it.
Now, some of them are quite, you know, you would guess that these would be expensive. Now, for a ticket to the NBA Championship Finals, do you want to know how for like, I think it was Game 7 this was, which is the final game. Do you want to guess how much a ticket is?
What's the equivalent to us? Is it like going to watch like the Premier League final or something? Probably,
or like the FA Cup.
I'm going to say like 250.
So apparently, well, times by 10, it's $2,800 to go to the final game of the NBA Championship.
Who can afford that?
Ludicrous. Well, people can. So I'm looking now at the Olympic opening ceremony in Tokyo 2020. That was around, prices were flat at, were fair at around $40 to $60 a ticket. But the opening ceremony for the best seats was about $1,400. Now, this is random. I'm going to end on this one because this is very random and you wouldn't think that this would be as expensive. So, for a 5-day conference in North America for TED. So, like
TED Talks. Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, which I didn't know. It stands for Technology, Entertainment and Design. So you're just learning things on Fab Life with Lauren and Lee this week.
Oh my God, let's say we don't give anything to you.
So for the five-day conference, you can buy a normal ticket, which is apparently about £5,000. Now, if you think about that across 5 days, and that includes meals, events, live access, book club, online social network, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
For the big package, which is VIP hotel assistance, a companion ticket at a reduced rate, you get early access to the 5-day conference, $250,000. And I read that and I'm like, hold on, TED Talks all go online.
Yeah, what are you paying for?
You watch them online.
What
are you paying for? You're just around all these wanky people being like, oh, yeah, sure.
I love that.
For $250,000.
For one person? That's like...
That actually, that was just behind the Super Bowl, which is looking at about $11,000. Followed by the US Golf Masters, Pop Tech. God knows even what that is. Some sort of tech entrepreneur company. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix placed at first, which, you would kind of expect something like that. So the fact that TED Talk conference is in the middle of that list, baffled me, I tell you.
That baffles me. But then are you just paying to be in that room, with people who the networking you're going to do is going to change your life or your business or whatever.
Exactly.
So but it's all just people with money rubbing shoulders with people with money, isn't it? Get a bit of diversity in there, guys, for God's sake.
Yeah, go to the fucking Soap Awards and sit in a box, bitch. You won't have to pay $250,000 if you can get a +1 ticket for that.
And sneak out and go to the Weatherspoons across the road for a £2 pint. God,
Thank God I didn't do that. Well, this time I went in there and they were like, the bar is open, but it closes throughout. So I was like, oh, I'll go quickly beforehand. So I had a couple of drinks
3?
in my box. I got 2. I thought, I actually went, oh, should I get 2 or 3? And the barman went, I think 2's fine. And I thought, oh, all right, Judge fucking Judy behind the bar.
Cheeky.
Mr. Thinking 2's fine. Who do you think you are?
I always get more because that's what you do, don't you? You always worry that you're gonna run out, and there's nothing. You'd rather have too much, but the problem is when you have too much,
Yeah, that's what I was. I mean, in previous years gone by, I would have had more, but because I was kind of on best behaviour, I thought, right, don't run before you can walk, Lily. Don't run before you can walk.
Come on,
I didn't
Lily.
want to start heckling during Lifetime Achievement Award or whatever.
Speaking of which, just another award ceremony this week was the Tonys, and our Ange got a Lifetime Achievement Award. I
assumed she'd already got one. Is this a second or third? Surely she's already got a Lifetime Achievement Award by now.
I know. She got an honorary Oscar because she never won an Oscar. But she has a record. She's the woman, her and someone else, they both have 5 Tonys, which is in musicals. So, and 4 of them
Jennifer
are for
Hudson
best leading lady.
Jennifer Hudson became an EGOT, didn't she?
Did she? Oh, she never won a Tony before. Oh wow, what's she?
No,
been in?
and she wasn't in anything. She produced a musical that won Best Musical. I think it's called A Strange Loop or something.
Cool.
And she was the producer of it, so it made her an EGOT. And just to remind everyone that Simon Cowell once said that she would amount to very little. And look at her now. She's got an EGOT. Look at her now.
She's thriving.
Just goes to show.
Just goes to show.
There's time for us
yet, Lee. There's time for us yet,
There really
Lee.
is. Well, I don't think Sam and Carol's ever told me I would amount to nothing, but maybe behind my back. Who knows?
He's always a bitching about nobodies, isn't he, you know? He's always listening to random podcasts.
Nobodies. Wow, I'll have you know I was sat in the box at the Soap Awards. Thank you.
I'll let you know that a psychic medium told me that I was going to be somebody someday.
Yeah, thank you. And I might not have a mustache, but I am going to break America. So, thank you.
There you go.
All right, well, this has been episode 17, and do send us your stories of your fun events, any events you've been to, or if you are still catching up, tell us about psychics. I've got messages from people who are like, I'm still on series 1, I am catching up. I'm like, Christ, you need to just set a week aside and just get in there, you know?
Get through it, yeah. Or I love it when people send me a story or a quote that one of us has said out of context, and I'm like, I can't remember what I said yesterday, let alone in series 1. And it's obviously something that's made them laugh. But I mean, always send us the text.
Bite us on the arse.
They probably will, but it's fine. It's all in jest, wasn't it? Oof. You can find us at Fab Life Pod, though, if you do want to chat to us on Insta or Twitter. You better just tag in us on our personals on Twitter. It's Lee Peart. It's Lee Peart now on Twitter?
Yes, it is. It's Lee Peart on everything.
Oh my God. I'm Dolly D Pinup on everything as well, so that's good. It's good to have continuity, isn't it? You know, when you have to have different ones because it's taken.
Yes, it is.
It's like, I hate you. Anywho, you do the sign off. Come on now, Lee. I've taken up enough time talking about fucking handles.
It has been episode 17 of season 2 of Fab Life
with Lauren and Lee.